Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about a comedy thriller film called The Voices from 2014. Enjoy your viewing. Jerry, an optimistic guy, has recently started working in the shipping department and is doing a great job. Dennis, the director of production, notices this and invites the newcomer to organize the next corporate party, which will start tomorrow night. Jerry gladly agrees. Delighted with the news, he returns home, says hello to his pet Bosco, and picks out a suitable outfit for tomorrow's event. Suddenly, he begins to hear a voice speaking negatively about his new job. The voice is convinced that Jerry is being used and tricked into working in his free time. The guy asks the stranger to shut up. The next day, colleagues from different departments of the factory hold a meeting where everyone offers their own entertainment options for the upcoming corporate party. The idea of the girl from accounting, Fiona, was not liked by the other participants in the discussion, and Jerry decides to support her by adding a few corrections, so the manager gives his consent. Fiona is very grateful to her colleague. While everyone is preparing, Jerry visits his therapist, Warren. The guy tells about his success at his new job and about a pretty girl, Fiona, to whom he is not indifferent. The therapist is happy that everything is going well in his life. She asks if he is taking his prescribed medication, but Jerry cannot give a clear answer. Then Warren asks if the voices in his head are still bothering him. Jerry assures him that they no longer make themselves felt and recalls his mother hearing them too. The therapist reminds him that the woman tried to find an explanation for this phenomenon and believed that the invisible interlocutors were real angels. After the conversation, Jerry goes to a corporate party where his colleagues are having fun. Jerry can't take his eyes off the attractive Fiona. He stops dancing just to admire her. When he returns home, Jerry hears his cat talking to him. Their intellectual conversation is interrupted by Bosco, who asks the owner to go for a walk with him so that he doesn't have to listen to the cat's negative speeches. The next day, Jerry comes to Fiona's accounting office. The girl is surprised to see him. He says that she asked him to come to the office, but Fiona can't remember. Her friend and colleague Lisa invites Jerry to have a drink with the other girls in the evening. The women gossip and feel uncomfortable with the man's presence. Lisa insists that Jerry give Fiona a ride home, and she is forced to agree. On the way, they agree to go to a Chinese restaurant on Friday night. Jerry returns home, where the cat admits defeat. The next day, the guy comes to the accounting office to give Fiona the address of the Chinese restaurant, since she asked him not to pick her up. Her friends report that Fiona is not there right now, and Jerry asks her to give him the address when they meet. When she is sure that Jerry has left, Fiona looks out from under the table. She doesn't want to upset him, so she can't say no outright. Meanwhile, Jerry comes to the restaurant and watches the show while waiting for Fiona. Meanwhile, she and her friends go to a karaoke bar without telling the guy. After having fun, Lisa helps Fiona get to her car. The girl can't start the car and goes out on the road to ask for help. Jerry drives by, stops and picks up Fiona, who is soaked in the rain. She tells him that she sent a text message explaining why she couldn't make it, but he didn't receive anything. However, Jerry quickly forgets about it because Fiona offers to have a snack together. On the way, the guy gets so caught up in the conversation that he doesn't keep his eyes on the road and hits a deer. The wounded animal asks Jerry in a human voice to finish it off, and he does so without hesitation. The blood splashes on the frightened Fiona, who runs out of the car in a panic, afraid of the boyfriend. Jerry asks her to stop and follows her with a knife. He tries to explain that the deer asked him to kill it. At some point, Fiona stumbles, and Jerry accidentally falls on top of her, stabbing her. He apologizes to her and confesses his feelings, but continues to stab her. When he returns home, he holds back his tears and takes a shower. Bosco advises the owner to go to the police and confess everything, but the cat thinks this is a ridiculous idea. In the end, Jerry decides to get rid of the body, just as the cunning cat advised him. The next day, a sheriff drives by the killer. The man was curious about what happened to Jerry's car, because the windshield was broken. Jerry tells him about the incident with the deer. The sheriff is surprised that Jerry left such a great meat in the woods, and then advises him to install a new glass as soon as possible and drives away. However, the body of the dead Fiona remains in the trunk. Jerry comes to the therapist again and admits that he no longer takes his medication. The doctor reminds him of the possible consequences of this decision. The doctor explains that Jerry remains free only because of the leniency of the Department of Corrections. If he stops taking his medication, Warren will be forced to report it to the authorities, and then he will be sent to prison for a crime he committed in the past. In the evening, the pets watch their owner get rid of Fiona's body. Jerry puts her parts in containers and leaves her head in the refrigerator. The cat convinces the owner to get rid of the medication because it will make him unable to talk to his animals and will leave him completely alone. But Fiona's head in the fridge convinces him to take the pill. At night, Jerry dreams about his childhood. He remembers having a toy that he considered his friend because it could talk to him. But his father was angry with his son when he talked to himself, thinking he was crazy. When he wakes up, Jerry starts to panic because the animals don't talk to him anymore, and the world around him has become dim due to the effects of the pill. He doesn't want to be alone anymore and decides to get rid of the medication. The next morning, he has breakfast while talking to Fiona's head. She complains about being lonely and asks him to eliminate her friend Lisa so they can be together in the refrigerator. Afterward, Jerry goes to the accounting office, where Lisa invites him for a drink. At the bar, they talk about their pets. Lisa talks about her cat, who has a difficult temper and always shows dissatisfaction when he doesn't like something. She invites Jerry to go to her house to introduce him to her cat. Jerry decides to show Lisa something special and swerves off the road, approaching the old house where he grew up. Inside, he recalls the terrible day when he last saw his mother. The clinic staff and the sheriff had come to take her away for treatment. She did not want to leave and asked her son to help her by handing her a sharp piece of glass. When the doctors came in, they saw her dead, and Jerry was standing next to her with bloody hands. He starts to cry, and Lisa, feeling sympathetic, kisses him. She offers to continue the evening at her house, and Jerry agrees, leaving the knife in the abandoned house. In the morning, he feels that thanks to Lisa, he was able to forget about his loneliness. He hurries home to feed the animals. Meanwhile, at work, Lisa finds out from a colleague the address Jerry left when he was hired and decides to surprise him. In the evening, Jerry watches the news with his animals and learns that some of Fiona's remains have been found in the forest. He begins to think about himself, asking the animals and Fiona's head who he really is. He recalls all the terrible things he has done and feels as if it was not him, but someone else. His thoughts are interrupted by a knock at the door. It's Lisa. He hides Fiona's head and goes to meet the girl. Lisa has brought cupcakes and wants to come inside, but Jerry refuses. He gets nervous, accidentally closes the door, and now he can't get back into the house. Lisa offers to pick the lock, but Jerry decides to climb through the skylight. Hearing him fall, Lisa breaks down the door and enters the house to help him. Inside, she sees a terrible mess and blood. Jerry watches through the window as Lisa approaches the refrigerator where Fiona's head is lying and hurriedly enters the house to stop her. Kat again incites Jerry to kill him, but he resists. Lisa, frightened, locks herself in the bathroom and arms herself with a broken towel holder. Jerry kicks in the door and gets hit several times, after which she runs into the bedroom and hides in the corner. She tries to convince him that she won't tell anyone, hoping to find a moment to escape. But Jerry pushes her, and she hits her head on the wooden corner. Eventually, completely out of his mind, Jerry finishes her off and puts her head in the refrigerator so that Fiona won't be lonely. Her co-workers can't reach Lisa and find an old article about Jerry on the internet. They find out that as a child, the boy was admitted to a psychiatric hospital after the death of his mother. Lisa's friend, Allison, decides to go to his house because it was Jerry she had planned to meet before her sudden disappearance. Jerry does not hesitate to eliminate her, leaving her head in the refrigerator. After that, he decides to tell the whole truth to his therapist. The woman listens attentively to Jerry, while simultaneously calling the police. Noticing this, the guy kidnaps the doctor and takes her away from the city. He begs her to help him get better, warning that he is not responsible for his actions, and motivates the therapist to find a way to help as soon as possible. The woman explains that it is impossible to fight the voices in your head, but you need to argue with them to do the right thing. Jerry is satisfied with this answer, and goes home with the doctor to feed his pets. Meanwhile, his co-workers arrive at the house and can't find the 3 girls from the accounting department. One of the men breaks down the door and then discovers the victim's remains. In the evening, Jerry returns home and cannot find his animals. He leaves the doctor on the couch and goes outside, but there is no one around. When he returns, he sees that the cat, which had been in the house all this time, is sitting on the doctor. Soon, the house is surrounded by police, who were called by 2 of his co-workers. Jerry leaves the doctor alive and tries to escape through the ventilation shaft, but accidentally hits a gas pipe. When the doctor is safe, a massive explosion occurs in the building. Jerry decides to stay inside until it's finally over. Bosco and the cat say goodbye to their owner. This is the end of the movie. If you have watched the video so far, you should know that I am happy to have viewers like you. Thank you for watching to the end. Subscribe to the channel and follow the news. Klonsak Recapped was with you. See you soon.